All right, welcome everybody. The date is August 2nd, 2022. This is the bi-weekly Cloud Custodian community meeting. Please be cognizant of the fact that we do record these meetings and put them publicly on the YouTube channel, and we publish the notes as well. Also, please remember that we are abiding by the CNCF Code of Conduct, so please be excellent to each other, but I know we always are. And with that, I'll be your host, George, today. We've gotten a packed agenda here. Let me go ahead and toss the notes URL in chat. I know some of you are joining, and sometimes determining Google Chat doesn't keep the previous thing, right? So I have to post a URL on the regular. So I'll just get used to that. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and share the agenda. How's that looking for everybody? Crank up the text here. All right. Intros. Anyone new want to say hello? I think I see some familiar faces, but usually we have some time if you're new here or it's your first meeting and you want to say hello. Of course, don't feel any pressure to do so. But if not, you can ask questions throughout the meeting. But anyway, welcome. We welcome all skill levels and users and stuff. First, we have some governance updates. I'd like to just bring some attention to 7149. This issue is our governance.md documents. We have gotten enough votes to graduate into the CNCF incubation process and out of the sandbox. However, the voting period is still open. So you're not going to see announcements and stuff like for a little while people do press releases and things like that. But one of those requirements is to have a governance MD that is how we add, remove maintainers, and kind of run the project. A lot of this is kind of ground has been treaded before with projects like Kubernetes and whatnot. And I've have a draft here. This isn't a PR. I kind of wanted to get consensus before we started a PR. And I'm looking for more feedback. We've definitely brought this up in the meeting before, and I've taken items as we get them. And then I'm kind of keeping like a live little change log at the bottom of things that I am making to the document. So I've added an emeritus process, and Kapil had asked me to look at the Envoy project. They do really interesting where they give all their maintainers +1 vote, but then like the project level maintainers get +2 votes to kind of be tiebreakers. I thought that was really interesting. So I put some thought into that and put that into the draft. I also kind of did I know some people had addressed concerns to me about, well, what happens if there's like an underrepresented area of the project and someone is rocking it and it's like, hey, sorry, you only got 29 PRs in this period. We need 30. So I kind of left a little escape valve that says discretion of the maintainers, where we can look at this governance process. And if a majority of maintainers feels that person is meeting the needs and is responsible, they don't have to actually wait for any of the time periods there. So it kind of gives us chalk outlines to stay within, but like also hopefully doesn't box us in. So that is the quick TLDR on that. If anyone has any questions, that's just a long-standing thing that I want to get done as part of the incubation process. And the next thing I have is I have gotten some a contact now with the CNCF. Specifically, Darren, you'd asked this last week about getting what are we going to do with open PRs from a previously accepted CLA. In this case, it was the Capital One CLA. And then the person has signed the new one. What do we do with the open PRs? That kind of stuff. That's mostly just trying to, get a meeting between like Kapil and maybe you, Darren, if you'd want to go, and then the CNCF and seeing what that will look like. So slow progress there, but I went to a conference this week. I went to Scale, and there was someone from the CNCF there. I was doing booth duty, and we kind of talked about all sorts of easy CLA things. And with that, I will give you the quick Scale update. Southern California Linux Expo was this past week. Sunny and I attended. We ran a workshop that was basically Cloud Custodian 101. It was about 90 minutes. It was recorded. However, the videos are not available at this time. But we thank all those that showed up. And as soon as we do get that information, I'll make sure we put that in the show notes. Sonny, is there anything you want to add there? Anything jump out at you there, custodian wise?
Just thanks for everyone that came out. I don't think anyone on this call was there, but it was great fun, answered a whole lot of questions. So I'm sure there will be, even if you are very familiar with Custodian, there may be some things in there that might be interesting to you.
Yeah, for sure. I'll see if I can get us a transcript of that one as well. I know there were some questions at the end that got a little hairy, and I was like learning all sorts of stuff. So that might be useful for people. Capillo Numero went to Reinforce, which was the same week, but over in Boston, New York, on the other coast. But he sends his regrets. It doesn't look like he's going to make it today. So hopefully he'll be able to let us know some of the interesting custodian discussions that he had there. And with that, I'm going to look at some PRs here. The way I do this is I run a little script that shows us activities and PRs and issues over the past 2 weeks and kind of give everyone a chance to, if you see something interesting that you think is worth discussing in the community, or maybe you need eyeballs on something, you can kind of bring your issue or your PR, your bug, and then we can help do that. But before we do, does anybody have anything else they want to add to the agenda? All right. And then right after this call, we're going to try to do a release. Darren, I've been looking forward to this for like 2 weeks. So after we get to the end of this, we can do whatever we want. Like if we want to cut this a little bit early, or we want to, make it a huge 2-hour block, I'm kind of flexible. AJ, Sonny, I don't know where you all are sitting flexibility wise, but yeah, we can talk about that. So I've got a few here that were nominated, and those are the ones with little explosions next to them. If there's one that's already on here that you want to discuss, either let me know or just add that little colon boom emoji. The first one we have is adding the reusable hash statement filter on AWS.
I'll let Steven talk about this. Steven, if you want to talk through it.
Okay.
Yeah, this is similar to the there's an existing S3 filter to basically be able to go through access policies statement by statement and check for certain key value pairs. So we have this requirement for compliance for several resources, and this adds it for SNS and also SQS. Basically, we want to be able to go through and make sure that the access policies are doing stuff like denying non-secure transport and stuff like that.
And so Sunny had added a review to this, and I have not looked at it deeply. What I looked at looks cool to me. But was there anything pending on that one? I don't think so. Oh, there was the discussion about the strict parameter from Sunny's comment, but it sounds like we're just kind of trying to match up with what we were doing with S3 already.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's cool. I thought we had another open PR to make this, to add a filter like this more generally, like a core filter, but I was looking and I didn't find it.
I think it was from John Hunigas.
Okay, that sounds right.
Want me to look here in front of everyone? Or?
Oh, AWS core has that. Yeah. So it's 6003. Looks like it was closed. And of course, I found it right away now. I didn't find it when I was looking for it before. But
yeah, this was like 2 years ago.
Yeah. So me, I don't have any issue with the one, just going with the SNS SQS one, and then if we need this more generally, then trying to extract it all out somewhere that still works. There's nothing in there that's really specific to SNS or SQS, right? In this PR, it's just making sure that filter is on the resource, right?
Yeah, correct. Darren had some suggestions. make it more reusable. So yeah,
Yeah.
you should be able to add it to other resources on the road fairly easily.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think I didn't want to go in and add one-offs that might make it harder to reuse later, but it looks like you've already covered that. So nice, thanks.
If you could leave a comment on that, that would be great as well. So we have that context in GitHub
Yeah.
itself. That
That would.
Someone reminded me it was a totally different project, that sometimes they make decisions in meetings and forget to put it in GitHub, and then people wonder, I asked them to review, but they accepted or whatever in the meeting, but they never followed up on the GitHub issue, and that could confuse people. So I'm going to try to let's attempt to keep GitHub as our single source of truth. So awesome. All right, anything else on this one?
AJ, are you still going to do another like more review of it though? Because you said you only look at it from a high level. I mean, I think we can still use some more thorough review of it. I mean, I had help Stephen, but I can definitely use another pair of eyes.
Yeah, I will. I wanted to just see if we were going to bump into that other PR, but if we're not, then yeah, I'll just give it another look over just in case anything else pops out. I mean, if you've looked at it and Sunny's looked at it, I doubt I'm going to find anything breaking in it, but I'll certainly have a look.
The third person's good luck.
Yeah,
Oh,
for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else on this one?
No, yeah, thank you guys for taking.
Yeah, dope. Well, thanks for the PR. We appreciate
Doing
it. Trying to make everything smoother. We'll get there. And this is the OPR, so it's not this one. Next, get bucket encryption fails when no encryption configuration is present, but KMS bucket key is enabled.
Yeah, this one we've got a little nit that it looks like there's another comment on it might address that just to make the. I think this was a good catch. It's a case where you can have something where the bucket key is showing up as enabled there, so you've got a server-side encryption block, but there's no default encryption set. It's just kind of an interesting edge case. I'm glad Custodian found it and submitted the fix. We'll just, I think we're going to clean up one check, and then we should be able to get that merged. I don't know if anybody else has run into that, but it was a fun one.
Good to go. Look, I should just get in the habit of like doing that after we discuss it. Okay. Any other color and commentary on this one? All right. The incoming WAF PRs continue. I think we've had one every 2 weeks for the past 2 months. So this one's yours, I think, AJ.
I don't know that it is, but
great. Is this yours,
but
AJ?
Sure. I will look. So
let's see what we got going on here.
So has Harisha Chapa ever made it to one of these community meetings? Because I know I've missed a few lately. I don't recall.
Yeah, I don't.
But big thanks to them for just continuing to flesh out WAF. I mean, this I have not tested this one, to be honest, but looking it over, looks good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And if anyone else on the call wants to, another set of eyes also doesn't hurt. We get to that lucky 3. Okay. We have...
actually, you know what? I say nothing jumps out, but I think one thing we are going to have to look at is they're defining a get resources and kind of hard coding that AWS partition.
Where are you seeing that?
Take a note. Line 29 in that WAF PR.
Right here?
Yeah. So I think that is one of those where we have some kind of functionality and it'll break if you're in like GovCloud or something where you're not in that default AWS partition. It's just one of those things we need to look out for. So I'll add a comment there. I suspected it'll be relevant, but yeah, that's the only thing.
That's good to know. Good tip.
Yeah,
all right.
Regex there would be more applicable.
Good work.
Cool. All right. Those are the PRs that kind of stood out to me. Unless anyone wants to nominate some, feel free to. Peter wants to go over 7561 and 7460. No worries. 7561, 75.
Any chance any of these PRs will get merged in before the planned release today?
I am thinking probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Okay. Just asking. Thanks.
Although, yeah, I think you're right. Unless we get to like prepping a release, but we don't actually get it published. Yeah, I don't know. I'd say probably not.
Yeah, there's been a few times where we've done the, hey, let's do a release in a meeting after, and then we end up getting a lot of the preparation done and finding issues and bugs and stuff. So, I mean, maybe. But we are releasing at least once a month now. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I know that's a non-committal answer.
7561 though, it looks like that one. Oh, sorry, you're looking at 7460 first.
Let's see which one am I looking at here? 7061. Okay, we can do this one. AWS Connect, create new Connect resource and instance attribute filter.
Yeah, so I recently added a new Connect instance resource, and Compile took a look at it and had some comments, which I addressed, but I haven't heard back since. So I was just wondering if we can get another look at it, see if there's anything else I might need to do.
Okay. I will put this.
Yeah, it looks like we've only got resolved comment threads on that one, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, I will put this on his radar today at a minimum. Anyone else want to take a stab at it if they have time? Obviously not now in real time, because I know that's a lot of pressure. But all right. I'll definitely pink appeal for you, Peter, if it's not a problem.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, and the other one is 7460.
Yeah, likewise on this one, I added a new filter for workspaces. And I believe Sunny and Kapil had some comments for changing the implementation to using a value filter. And so yeah, just like the other one, I just need another look at it.
Got you. Sunny, you have time this week to circle back on this one? Hate to put you on the spot. You don't have to answer.
Sorry, my connection just dropped for a second, so I missed that. This was the workspaces.
Yeah, 7460. I'll toss the link in chat there.
Yeah, I can take a look at that. Actually, speaking of Peter, are you the one that was asking about the secrets manager?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that one. Yeah, I took a look at your comment, and I think you're right. So
Cool.
yeah, that one's not an issue.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Hopefully we'll get you unblocked here, Peter. Appreciate the PRs. Anything else on these two?
No, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ooh, this one. Erwin sending logs from Lambda S3 buckets in another region, 7593. I think this is yours, Sunny.
No,
this one's AJ's.
Yeah. Kapil and I both had commented on that one. So that one is interesting, but it is related to Sunny too, because there was an issue with running Custodian in certain opt-in regions where you had to specify a location constraint on the bucket when specifying the output bucket. And adding that fix in means that you effectively need that get bucket location permission for your Custodian IAM roles. Now, most people have that. Most Custodian roles are going to have it, and your output bucket is going to allow that. It's a pretty basic policy. Like if you have read-only or some kind of access to a bucket, you're going to have probably get object, put object, and then that get bucket location. Looks like for this issue, someone didn't have that get bucket location permission, whether it was missing from the role or the bucket policy or an SAP or whatever. And so after that fix PR went through, the one linked from here, the sending across regions started failing. And so the question, so Kapil and I both commented on it. I was thinking we might want to just to avoid this kind of surprise, we might want to fall back to the other behavior where if we try to find a bucket location and we can't, we fall back to US East 1. But then I think Kapil and Sunny, I've kind of moved over to where they were coming from, which is like that permission is a pretty basic permission that you would expect to have on an output bucket. And so if it dies, it's more like that's something we need to fix on the permission side. We just may need to call that out in release notes or highlight this issue somewhere. So if anyone else runs into it, we know what to tell them, where to go.
Yeah. Additionally, is call make.
I think I lost you, Sonny.
Yeah, Sonny, you're cutting out pretty bad. Try it now.
No, I was saying that Git bucket location is an API that we use to construct the S3 resource via the augment anyway. So if you're running a policy against and looking at S3 buckets, you should already have it on the IAM principal that's making the calls there. So to me, it seemed like rather unlikely that this would happen. Although I do understand that people don't typically give S3 get star because that does allow you to get object. But in this case, like the permission is so innocuous, I don't think it's an issue. As long as we document in the release, I think it's fine.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anything else on this one?
Isn't there an example IAM role policy somewhere? I could have sworn I saw one for Lambda.
There is.
Yeah, maybe just
there's an example that says you're going to need you'll need read-only access and then plus whatever other stuff. And the read-only access policies are going to include that permission. I think this was, I suspect. I mean, I don't know from the detail in that ticket. I suspect that the gap was coming up in a bucket policy or something else rather than the IAM role definition. But I mean, it's a good call. It's worth documenting that maybe in the execution options section of our docs, where you say if you're going to specify an output directory, make sure you have these permissions. Similar, we sort of call that out with SQS for the notify action too. Like if you're going to send to an SQS queue, you're going to need these permissions.
If you could tell me where that is in the docs, AJ, not now, but at some point, I'd be happy.
Yeah.
I was just looking for myself.
Yeah, I was like,
I know I
hey.
saw it recently because I went, I start with that and then I add all the other junk I need.
Lambda configuration.
Yeah.
Okay, so where I'm looking, I will post it in the meeting chat. But I'm looking here in this section on execution options, and we specify that you can call out an output directory.
Yeah.
And we just might want to add some color around that. Like if you're going to specify an S3 output location, then make sure you have get bucket location and put object and
yeah. Steve, if you want to PR it, or we could do it together, up to you. Sounds like a fun thing if you're hanging out on the
on the manual. Oh no. Yeah.
Okay.
That's not, I mean, I'm not saying no. I'll look.
Yeah. But if not, I'm always looking for the doc PR. So I'll handle
you know
this
what?
one.
That's probably a place I could do a lot of PR. Because I run into a
well, and if anyone here knows of a different place where that would make more sense, that was just the first spot that occurred to me because that's where you'd be.
That's
where you specify in a Lambda, but I mean, Custodian run, you can specify an output location there too, or C7 and org. So there may be a different spot or multiple spots where that makes sense.
Okay, I will actually do the right thing and put a comment to myself in the GitHub issues that the S3 bucket needs the proper permissions.
Because sometimes I write to buckets in different accounts, and then you have to go into ensure that the bucket policy allows for the account I'm running from.
Mm-hmm. All right. Looks like I'll have something to do while y'all are doing the release. Okay. And the last one officially on the agenda, if you have more, of course, feel free to keep putting them in the sidebar. C7 org condition when running a merge policy file across 500 plus accounts.
Yeah, and since Kapil's not on this call today, I know he
Right.
was mentioning changing the. So he was suspecting that part of what's going on here is that we have to keep a lot of cache in memory, and he was talking about changing the cache implementation to use SQLite, where you can do a lot of partial loads and lookups rather than having to load cache files in they're kind of pickled to disk right now. And so that was at least the suspicion, is that some of this is trying to just keep a bunch of cache from potentially multiple accounts all in memory, and then not getting rid of that stuff and killing yourself.
All right. And since he's not here, we're gonna have to table that one for next time. But he's got some ideas there that he wanted to run by some of you. We'll get to that at some point. And those are the colon booms of the 2 weeks there. Anything else people would like to see, PR wise, issue wise, other feedback?
I do want to mention that just dropped the 7601 only because we started seeing some a recent PR failed lint, and it was a bunch of unrelated stuff, and it was because PyCode style released a new version, and they implemented a new default check. So it's checking for required white space around keywords. So if any of you submit PRs before 7601 here gets merged, and you just start seeing lint errors, and you're like, where is this coming from? It's a PyCode style change.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna put a note for that. That is is PyCode style.
Yeah.
Code
Thanks for the
style.
look, Sonny. I submitted that one, and Sonny looked at it right away, and he was saying, like, wow, but it's failing because of a patch check.
Yeah.
So.
Got you. I'll make sure that hits the show notes then. Good looking out. Anything else, or we're gonna break early? And if you want to stick around, we're gonna see if we can release today. Flex some muscles. With that closes the formal agenda. I guess, should we just stay here? I could just kill the recording and then start a new one. I know we like to record these.
I'm good with that.
Sure. All right. And with that, if you don't want to stick around for the release, feel free to bail. Thank you for coming. We appreciate it. And let me stop the recording. We'll see everyone in 2 weeks, and then we'll try to release this bad boy today.